Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Embrace It You're Beautiful podcast with Coach Nadia J. Will. That's me, Coach Nadia. Just coming on to record our next podcast. I want to apologize because this podcast was supposed to go out on Thursday. Thursday was a really hairy day for me, and I just didn't have it. But I'm taking a moment now with God sitting with me to come and do this podcast, focusing on the courage to believe. So essentially, we're going to be talking about believing when you cannot see the way. When I was trying to prepare for this podcast, I was asking God and just kind of thinking in my mind, why does it take courage to believe? One of the things that I think about, just jumping right into the podcast, some things that I think about is belief, faith, trust, and hope. 4 things: belief, faith, trust, and hope. I feel like those things are very interchangeable concepts that work together, and they bolster each other up so that you can have belief or so that you can have faith. It takes courage to believe that something that you're hoping for is going to happen. Let me say that again. It takes courage to believe that something that you're hoping for is going to happen. But I will further add to that in order for your belief to become actualized, you must take action. Belief cannot be actualized if you don't take action. So you can have the faith, you can have hope, you can trust, you can believe, but if you do not take action, your belief cannot come to fruition. It's just not possible. And so in scriptures, God talks about belief, and he says in John 14:1-2, he says that whoever believes in me and believes in the works that I do, greater works will he do, because he goes to his Father. I was reading that passage in John chapter 14 where Jesus was talking to the disciples about the importance of belief, and he was encouraging them because he knew his time on earth was coming to an end. And when it comes to belief, the reason why I say courage is because, like I said, you can believe something's going to happen, but if you don't do the work, it's not going to happen. It's like I'm believing to become a size 14. If I don't do the work to become size 14, will I become size 14? No. If I want to earn a bachelor's degree or a master's or a doctorate or just a high school diploma, just graduating from 8th grade, if I don't believe in myself, if I don't put the work in to do what is necessary, then I won't achieve that goal. You have to believe that you can. You have to believe that it's possible. And if you don't believe it's possible, then your courage was going to go out the window, because belief empowers courage. Right now, in this season of my life that I'm in, on this entrepreneurial journey, I have to admit that it's a very challenging experience. I never expected to be like this, but what I'm learning from reading other entrepreneurs or following podcasts or just reading books, that you cannot achieve your belief or the thing that you're hoping for, the thing that you're having faith for, unless you take action. Action is key to making belief come to fruition. And I feel like I'm repeating that over and over because I don't know if that's because I need to hear it for myself. I need it to process down into my spirit. But it's the truth. I have to believe what God says about me. This podcast, Embrace It You're Beautiful, the reason it's titled the way it is because God told me that 2+ years ago. He's like, Nadia, embrace it, you're beautiful. And when he first told me about that, I'm like, what do you mean? I don't understand what that means. And some time later, he helped me to see that embracing my beauty, the beauty that belongs to me, is a call to believe what he said about me. Now, in the Bible, for those of you who don't know, I'm a Christian. In the Bible, there's many passages that talk about faith and hope and belief. You have Mark 9:24, you have John 6:35. There's all these different passages in the Bible that talks about believing. When you believe, you achieve. I guess that's why the words rhyme. But as I walk through my own personal journey with this entrepreneurial journey, I have to tell you the truth. Like, holding on to God and believing when I do not understand, it takes courage, because there are so many things that happen that makes you not want to give up. It makes you want to back off, say, nope, this is not for me. Let me do something else. As a professional registered nurse, working a job for somebody else is assured. You know that if you clock in for your hours, you're going to get paid that time. But when you're on an entrepreneurial journey, it becomes different, because to a great degree, you have to put in all this work, and you're not sure if the work you're putting in is going to pay off the moment you put in the work. A lot of times when we put in the work, we want to know that the payoff is coming right behind it. Work, payoff, just like our standard jobs have taught us to do. We go to work to get paid. You know what I'm saying? And with this entrepreneurial journey, you have to put in a lot of work in hopes that the effort you're putting in will become something that it will become something that you are hoping that it will become. Starting this podcast, having my coaching practice, I'm new to professional coaching. I've done coaching on the side, like just talking to my friends, talking with my colleagues, I've done that naturally. But doing this, as a professional coach, is harder than I thought it was going to be. And it requires courage to be in this space. Being a podcaster isn't easy either. It also takes courage and believing in action and showing up to achieve what I'm hoping that this podcast will do. The goal of this podcast is to help you to believe in yourself, to believe that you can, and then encourage you or motivate you to do the work, so that what you're hoping for, what you're believing for, what you're having faith for, what you're trusting for will happen. And I won't lie, it is not an easy process. Raising children is not an easy process. Many parents raise their children to the best of their ability, believing that their children will become good children, adults one day. And sometimes that doesn't happen. Does that mean that, you should stop believing that? Does that mean that you stop hoping or having faith for that, or trusting that one day they will get it? You don't stop. You just keep on trying. You keep on believing. You keep on hoping until it comes to fruition. I really don't know what to tell you about believing. I don't know how to articulate it. It's not that I don't know what to say, I just don't know how to articulate it. I think this podcast is one of the most transparent experiences that I have put myself into. I am putting myself on display for the whole world to see and judge. And I'm learning how not to care about what people think about my journey, because my journey is mine. I can tell you that being a podcaster, being an entrepreneur, it is one of the most challenging journeys I've ever been on. And I'm believing God that my clients are coming. I'm doing the work in going through this coaching program to help me become a better coach, to help me to really establish my profession. Because my goal is to help people believe. Like, for a long time, I didn't believe I was worth it. For a long time, I didn't believe that I was valuable to anybody. Like, I was valuable to them for what they needed from me, but I wasn't valuable just because I'm me. You know, for a long time, I questioned just my existence, my worth, my value. Like, did anybody care? There are times where I've had suicidal thoughts or suicidal ideation growing up as a teenager and even coming into adulthood. Sometimes even while being a parent, I thought these kids would be better off without me. But God has always been faithful to me to help me to believe, like, yes, right now is tough. Right now is difficult, but I'm with you. Let's keep going. Let's keep pushing ahead. I'm holding your hand. I'm walking with you. And over time, I have gotten to a place that now I'm choosing to believe. I'm at a place now where I'm choosing to believe because I have no other alternative option. Yeah, I can go back to my job, and try to work through this disability. Or I can have faith and believe that what's going on with disability is a setback to set me up for the comeback that God is creating in my life. Because I believe that's what God is trying to do. He's trying to set me up for a comeback. Like, I've been one of those people who's been very dependent on a salary, going to work, clocking in and clocking out because my paycheck is assured. But walking out an entrepreneurial journey, it takes a lot of faith. It takes a lot of faith believing that your customers are going to come, or your what's the word I want to use? That your tribe is going to come, or that your like that's the thing I said already, that your customers are going to come, or that, your tribe will show up, or people will come and support you and back you in the business that you're trying to do. I can tell you that this journey is not an easy one, and it takes courage to walk out something that you can't see. Like, you're walking into darkness, and you have to trust that when you plant your foot on the ground, something solid is going to be underneath it. Walking out this journey is really stressful sometimes. But it caused me to spend a lot of time in prayer. As with any other thing that I think anybody will go through in life, whether you're believing God for a degree, you're praying and you're studying and you're doing the work, and it's hard, but you're still pushing on. I have people who are acquaintances of mine or friends who have started but haven't finished things that they started, simply because they don't believe that they can, or when it gets trying, they give up on themselves. But you have to have courage to push forward. A good Bible story, I think, that can help you understand belief, what comes to my mind is Joshua and the story of Jericho, or even the story of Gideon and his 300 men. Either one of these stories, these men had to believe the thing that they were asked to do. Gideon was sent to go against a whole army with just 300 men. And when he believed God that what he said he was going to do was going to occur, it actually happened. But Gideon had work to do. He had to rally the 300 men. He had to, and he went from 30,000 to 300, okay? He had to rally the men. He had to position the men. He had to, do what God had instructed him to do, which was to light the torch, blow the horn, make the sound of crack whatever thing they had to crack the jar, and just scream like, "Rah!" You know what I'm saying? And it caused the army that was going, because they were around the valley, caused the army that was in the valley to panic. And in their panic, they end up killing each other. Gideon didn't even have to do no fighting. The same thing happened with Jericho. They had to go around the wall of Jericho every day, once a day. And on the 7th day, they went around 7 times. And then they just had to shout, "Ah!" And the walls fell. And so sometimes when you go through journeys in life, you have to believe that God is with you. The one who loves you is with you. You have to believe that he will help you, because he will make things, the Bible says that he will make all things work together. I think it's Romans 8:28. He'll make all things work together. And when you put forward the effort, or you put forward the challenge, or you accept the challenge and you put forward the effort and you have the courage and you believe, God shows up and he will fill in the places where you lack. You know, right now in my current experience, I am trusting God on this entrepreneur journey to help me establish my clients. In the interim, you know, receiving my disability check has been quite challenging for the last almost 2 months. And so right now I'm in a position where, you know, I have bills to pay. I have car note, car insurance, rent, you know, utilities, my cell phone. You know, I have all these different bills to pay, and I right now don't have the funds to pay it. You know, and I've spent many days praying with my sister friends, you know, praying with my children, praying on my own, and talking to God and saying, God, I trust you, even though I can't make sense of this. God, even though I don't see the results, I'm trusting you that you got my hand. I'm trusting you that you're not going to let me fall. I'm trusting that I'm not going to lose everything. You know, I'm trusting that I won't be homeless. I'm trusting that you will continue to take care of me and my children so that you can be glorified in this business, because I am just the president of my business. But for me, the CEO is God, because he's the one who told me to do this thing. Because Lord knows I was running away from this like the plague since 2017. We're now in 2024, you know? And so it takes courage to believe that your efforts are going to be fruitful. It takes courage, but not only courage, it takes work. You know, belief is not possible. And I'm going to say it again. Belief is not possible without action. If you want a better relationship with your spouse, with your children, guess what? There's work you have to do to help have those healthy relationships. If you're trying to lose weight you know, or eat healthier, or, you know, take care of whatever chronic health issue you have to be willing to do the work, to study and to figure out your problem, and figure out why this health problem is. What are the causes? What are the treatments? How can you solve this problem? What work can you do to make your health better so that this chronic illness or this acute illness can go away? What work can you do? You understand what I'm saying? If you're a student in school and you want to go to the next grade, what do I need to accomplish every year so that I can move to the next grade? And if I want to go to college with a scholarship, well, what GPA do I have? What college do I want to go to? What's their requirement? How can I make that happen? And you have to believe and take the steps of faith, of hope, of trust, of belief. You have to take these steps so that what you're hoping for can come to fruition. My dream is to own acres of land, to have a coaching business and a faith-based business that will help people be their best self. That is my goal. You know, and I believe that all of these smaller steps are to help me to achieve that goal. But it takes courage to do that. When you don't see the ending, when you don't, at the beginning, you can't see the ending. You just have a hope for it. You know what I'm saying? You have a hope. Yeah, you have a hope for it. You have faith that it will happen. You know, here on my computer, it says faith involves reliance and trust, and it endures in the face of doubt, whereas belief is simply something we take to be true. Faith is reliance, it's a trust, it's an inner belief, because I truly believe that belief is the foundation of faith. If you don't believe that what you are envisioning, what you're seeing, what you're hoping for is going to come to fruition. If you don't believe it's going to happen, then it won't happen. Because without your belief, it can't come to be. Your belief gives information to your faith. And then your faith takes that information and says, okay, I'm relying on what I'm believing. I'm trusting that it's true. And now I'm going to do the action. I'm going to hope and do, while I'm hoping, I'm doing the action to make the thing that I'm believing is going to happen come to fruition. Does that make sense? So what I want you to grasp from this podcast is that believing God for something that you're trying to do, or believing for something that you're aiming to achieve, takes action. It takes courage to do actions for the thing that you're hoping for. And without those actions, your belief is like hot air. It's just hot air. And God is calling you to believe. God is calling you to hope, to have faith, to trust what he says or what he's asking you to do. I don't know who out there watching this podcast is believing something for themselves. Whether you're believing God, or you're believing that you're believing that a family member is going to get healthy. You have to believe. With that particular one, that's challenging because, you never know what the result is going to be for the person who's ill. But we have to have faith with that belief and trust that whatever happens, God knows best. Because God will take your steps of faith, and the Bible said that he will order them. It says the steps of good man is ordered by God. And so he will order your steps so that you can achieve the thing that he has put on your heart to do. God wants you to be successful. He wants you to be your best self. And the way that can happen is by remembering to take action. Your belief won't work if you don't take action, people. Your belief just won't work if you won't take action. And that's what I need you to understand. I need you to understand that there is action steps that you must take so that your belief, what you're believing God for, can come true. That is what I want you to understand when I say the courage to believe. I need you to have courage to try. I need you to have courage to take the steps needful to see the thing that you're desiring come to fruition. It's not going to happen if you don't try. And it takes courage. Yeah, it's scary, being an entrepreneur. It's scary not knowing where my resources are coming from. But I know that by faith I have help. And I know that by faith God is helping me. And God is leading me. And God is guiding me. And God is ordering my steps. Like I said, a steps of good man is ordered by God. And so if you believe what he says about you, then it'll make it easier to have the courage to do the thing that he's put on your heart to do. Because he's told you, like if he told you to do it, then that means he's already made provision for you. He's already made a plan for your success. You just have to put forth the effort. And that effort is to be courageous. You have to be courageous in what you believe in God for, and then do the work. Do your part of the work and trust him with the other parts. Because he'll make up where you lack. So that's the simple podcast that I wanted to bring to you today, to remind you that the courage to believe when you can't see the way is taking action steps. And so what are some action steps that you can take? Well, one, what is it that you want to do? Once you know what you want to do, then research the things that need to be done so you can achieve that thing. So if you want financial abundance, if you want a better credit score, if you want to lose weight, research what is needful to do to accomplish that things. Then create a plan. That will be my second step. Create a plan. The first thing is, what do you want to do? The second step is researching what's needed or what's needed to be done so that you can achieve the thing that you want to do. And then that's like a part 1A and 1B. And then I would say part 2 is create a plan. Create a plan that works with your life. Create a plan that works for you. That would be my step 2. My step 3 would be, when are you going to start and make sure you execute? When are you going to start? Don't wait for too long. When are you going to start and then execute? Execute the plan that you've created. And then how long are you going to watch this? Is it 14 days? Is it 30 days? Is it 21 days? Is it 63 days? How long are you going to do this? And then at the end of that time period, evaluate. What have you accomplished? What have you learned? What didn't work well? All right, that's your next step. Those are your questions. So that's like step 4 or 5. And then reevaluate and try again. You know, some people are like, oh, well, if it didn't happen, just give up on it. No. Failure or it not happening the way you originally meant for it to happen doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It just means that you have to keep on trying until you have the right combination of the things you need so that you can achieve the thing that you're believing for. So let's review these steps once again. Number 1, what is the thing that you are believing for? Whether you're believing God or you believe that you can accomplish. That's step 1. Research, that's 1A. 1B, research what does it take to accomplish that thing. Okay? Step 2, create a plan. Create a plan of action that will help you achieve, keeping in mind the things that you research, that will help you achieve the goal. That's number 2. Number 3 would be, when are you starting and executing? That's your number 3, okay? Number 4 is, what is your time window? Are you doing 14, 21, 30 days, 45 days, 63 days? Remember, it takes 21 days to form a new habit. So 63 is 21 times 3, and it becomes solidified in the brain. Okay, so how long are you going to do it for? All right, I believe that's step 4. And then the next thing you're going to do is, after that time period is done, reevaluate it. What have you achieved? Have you achieved your goal 100%? Have you achieved it 25, 50, 75%? How have you achieved the goal? Once you evaluate and you see that maybe you achieved by 50%, well, what were the things that didn't work? That's like a 4B. What are the things that did not work? Okay, well, what are better steps to improve? Okay, those steps are steps needful to improve the situation, to improve your plan. Okay, so part 5, when are you starting again? And you keep on doing that, and you keep on reevaluating until you get the desired goal that you're believing God for, or that you're believing that you can accomplish on your own. But I have to remind you that to achieve these goals, you must be consistent. You must make a plan, and you must be consistent. If you don't take action, what you're believing for will not come to be. And that's what takes courage, is believing and putting action to the thing that you're hoping for, the thing that you're praying for, the thing that you're having faith for, the thing that you're trusting for. Doing the action continually with consistency will cause what you are believing for to come to be. So what are you going to do now? What is your dream? What is your hope? What is your plan for the future? In the comments below, share with me what you're hoping for. And then follow the steps. We reviewed them already. I don't want to review them again. Just rewind this video if you want to get them. I think I've said it 2 or 3 times already. But what are you believing for? And do you have the courage to take action? And not just take action, but take action consistently for a space of time. And do you have the courage to reevaluate once you get to the end of the time period that you've set for yourself? So I hope that this podcast today was helpful for you in understanding what belief is and how belief, faith, hope, and trust all work together to help you achieve the thing that you're hoping for. I'm hoping that this podcast, these steps, gave you insight on how to achieve your goal, because without belief, without action, will yield nothing. Have faith in yourself. Trust yourself. Trust God. Have faith in yourself and trust God. Do your part and understand that God will fill in the gaps. And what you're believing for, that courage to do, will yield something one day. So, this is Coach Nadia checking out for the evening. I will see you. I'll see you the next time on the next episode. I'm not exactly sure what we're talking about today because it's not off the top of my mind, but it might be the power of an embrace. It might be that, or, what's a beautiful life. I'm not sure, but this is Coach Nadia signing out for tonight, just reminding you to embrace your beautiful. Believe that you can and have the courage to make it happen. So this is Coach Nadia checking out for the night. I'm going to say deuces, and I'll see you next week. Bye.